Welcome. Let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're taking what sounds like a kind of abstract concept, personal mastery, and we're going to transform it into a highly actionable, structured roadmap built specifically for the modern South African job market. Because let's be real, whether you're trying to land that very first role or you're just looking to seriously level up your professional presence, having a piece of paper that says you're qualified, it just isn't enough anymore. You really need personal mastery. It's that continuous, inside-out journey of mental, emotional, and professional development. So let's unpack exactly how you can build that competitive edge for yourself.
Here is our quick roadmap for today. 1. The foundation of personal mastery. 2. Navigating South African work environments. 3. Emotional intelligence and conduct. 4. Practical tools for job seekers. And finally, 5. Digital tools and task management.
There's a quote from our source material that really hits the nail on the head. Being work-ready means being environment-ready. The absolutely crucial point here is that a lot of young professionals don't actually stumble because they lack the technical skills. They struggle because they don't quite grasp the unwritten expectations of their specific workplace. True success? It requires deep adaptability.
All right, Section 1, the foundation of personal mastery. Let's get into it.
So a personal vision gives you direction, but you absolutely need a roadmap to get there. You can turn that big vision into a practical plan using SMART goals. Your goals got to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Think of this as your personal development compass. For example, if you want to improve your continuous learning, which is a huge trait employers look for, don't just say, "Oh, I want to learn more." Say, "I'm going to complete one online certification in digital skills on Coursera within the next 3 months." Setting it up this way acts as a massive motivator, and regularly reviewing those goals ensures you stay totally adaptable in a fast-changing market.
And that internal compass leads us right into our next big concept, emotional intelligence, or EI. So what is it? Well, it's defined as the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, and to understand and influence the emotions of others. Why should you care? Because high EI is the secret sauce. It's the foundation behind better teamwork, stronger communication, and building a genuinely valuable professional network in your industry. By actively practicing things like self-awareness, self-regulation, and empathy, you make yourself literally invaluable to any employer.
Moving right along to Section 2, navigating South African work environments.
Let's look at the actual rules of the game, because expectations shift dramatically depending on where you're working. In a corporate office, expected behavior is all about professional dress codes and hitting strict deadlines. But shift over to retail, and suddenly you're on your feet for long hours and you need to maintain super friendly service even when dealing with difficult customers. In an industrial or factory setting, strict safety compliance and PPE are totally non-negotiable, all while managing physical demands and loud noise. And if you're in a remote or hybrid setup, strong self-discipline and managing feelings of isolation become your main challenges. The big takeaway here is that adaptability is a universal requirement. You've got to be able to read the room or the factory floor and adjust how you conduct yourself.
Which brings us to Section 3, emotional intelligence and conduct.
Let's dive into a really relatable case study from the sources. Look at Lerato on the left. She's an admin assistant who's been late 8 times in a single month, constantly blames the traffic and texts personal messages while customers are literally standing there waiting. But look at the real-world impact on her team on the right. Lerato's behavior isn't just a quirky personal flaw, it absolutely tanks team morale. Her colleagues are super frustrated because they have to keep covering for her, and she is heading straight toward disciplinary action. Seemingly small things, like basic punctuality and staying off your personal phone, they directly impact your professional brand. Now, let's see how this plays out when receiving feedback. Take Sipo here. His manager points out some errors in a report, and Sipo's immediate defensive response is, "This isn't my fault. Nobody explained it properly." This is exactly where emotional regulation needs to kick in to save your professional relationships. The smart professional response, the one powered by emotional intelligence, is to just stay calm, take accountability, and ask, "I apologize for the misunderstanding. Can you please clarify how you'd like the task completed so I can correct it?" That tiny shift in your approach is literally the difference between trashing your reputation and being known as a reliable problem solver. Of course, even if you're an absolute master of EI, disagreements are going to happen. So here's a highly practical 5-step de-escalation process for workplace conflict. First, clearly identify what the actual problem is. Second, actively listen to both sides. Third, stay calm and professional. You have to manage those emotions. Fourth, collaborate to find a solution together. And fifth, follow up later to make sure it actually worked. See, this proves that conflict isn't inherently a bad thing.
If you manage it respectfully, it actually leads to much better teamwork.
All right, Section 4, Practical Tools for Job Seekers. Let's talk hardware.
Your CV is basically your professional handshake before you even enter the room. A rock-solid CV has to include your personal details, a punchy professional summary, your education, work experience, skills, and references. But the absolute golden rule here is to keep it clean. Stick to 1 or 2 pages max, use simple fonts like Arial or Calibri, and, I cannot stress this enough, always save and send it as a PDF so your beautiful formatting doesn't get messed up on their end.
And hey, that professionalism has to carry over into your daily communications too. Just compare these 2 emails. On the left, we've got a messy, rushed email. No clear subject, no capital letters, no professional greeting. It's a disaster. Now look at the structured, professional email on the right. Notice the super clear subject line with a date, the proper greeting, the formal request, and a courteous sign-off. Honestly, you can even use AI tools like ChatGPT to help you draft or polish your structure nowadays. Proper digital etiquette doesn't just look nice. It's absolutely essential for building respect every single day.
Boom! So that CV and email landed you the interview. Awesome. Now you need to be ready. Here are some rapid-fire tips for success. Dress neatly in whatever attire is appropriate for that specific industry. Anticipate and practice for common questions like, tell us about your strengths and weaknesses, and always shoot them a polite thank you email within 24 hours of the interview. Also, when you do finally get the offer, remember your personal mastery. Advocate for yourself by carefully reviewing the fine print, things like probation periods, working hours, and your leave entitlement before you sign anything.
Section 5, our final stop, Digital Tools and Task Management.
Let's be completely real about the modern workplace. Tasks are rarely just handed out verbally anymore. If a manager just tells 5 people in a room to write a report, you are guaranteed to end up with duplicated work and completely missed sections. Written digital allocation is absolutely critical now. It assigns responsibilities with total clarity, it tracks deadlines, it prevents confusion, and it fundamentally eliminates that toxic culture of blame shifting because everything is documented.
To make this happen, companies rely heavily on industry-standard project management platforms. We're talking about tools like Monday.com, Trello, Asana, and Microsoft Teams. Employers just expect you to have the digital literacy to jump right into these platforms. You'll use them to track your progress, share documents, and collaborate with your team without clogging up everybody's inbox with 100 unnecessary emails.
But just having a login to the tool isn't enough, right? You need the proper digital conduct to go with it. So here is your digital etiquette checklist. Update your task status regularly so your manager isn't left guessing what you're up to. Meet your deadlines. If you are going to be late, and it happens, communicate those delays early. Don't just wait until the deadline blows past. Always be respectful in the comment sections, and never, ever ignore a task that's assigned to you. Digital literacy goes hand in hand with professional accountability.
We've covered a ton of ground in this explainer today, all the way from the internal foundations of self-awareness and emotional intelligence, straight through to the external realities of navigating different workspaces, sending professional emails, and mastering digital tools. So I want to leave you with a really powerful reflection question to answer for yourself. Do I manage my time effectively, and how can I actively improve my accountability? Remember, personal mastery isn't a one-and-done thing. It's a continuous journey. If you take ownership of your development, you won't just be ready for a job, you're going to be ready for an incredibly thriving career. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.